up well versus Tom's, and this matchup seems to me like it might only get worse from here.
Yeah, and it goes to indicate that Ryvius might just struggle against the field as he goes through here, because the decks that he has had a really tough time against so far, the Even Paladin and the Odd Rogue from Tom, that's two of the decks that we saw in that graphic on our pre-show as the most improved and most common decks in this field. So Ryvius is going to run into a few more of those before his time is up. But now he's going to switch away again onto his topsy-turvy APM Quest Priest. Diamol on 1, Razormaw on 2, Animal Companion on 3 from Tom60229.
I want to talk a bit about building a lineup and what it means, because I think that for Ryvius, it's quite rare you get to see a player have exactly hit the style that he has, where it's that constant willingness to take risks in tournaments. And I want to talk about, what it means to win a tournament and the difference between consistent play and trying to win the whole event. It feels like to me that at every step, Ryvius has tried to win the whole event.
I want to talk about Tom being smart and playing that Hyena on 2, because I will admit my brain totally autopiloted just the default curve, but that Hyena on 2, no real answer available in Ryvius's deck, and he now gets to double dip on the Razormaw looking for plus attack and Wind Fury, and that is such a bad roll for him to get basically no offensive power out of those two options. Let me be clear, his start is insane. He has drawn the Uber nuts.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're in agreement.
Yeah. His draw...
Does he need any more?
His draw is the Stone Cold Cashews, but those Razormaws were disappointing. You feel like when the game's handing you everything that it's just going to keep going and you're just going to nail plus attack Wind Fury off the two Razormaws, you know?
This isn't Wind Fury. Disappointed! Ryvius is good. I mean, Mass Hysteria is still a heck of a card, though.
It is. But it's going to have a hard time killing that big boy Hyena.
Do you know the math on 3 minions?
I'm wondering whether it will remain 3 minions when it comes out here, because
Tom's not. He just doesn't care.
Exactly. Like, first off, there is always an argument to say make him have the Mass Hysteria. I think people are too scared. On turn 5, they have not drawn that many cards. Step 1, make them have it. Step 2, when there's 1 minion on board with a much higher base of stats than the other minions, then it's actually beneficial in some spots to have an even number of minions on board.
Well, this is it.
That's a good start. That's a good start.
That's the attack Ryvius wanted to see second, and suddenly there's some breathing room, and Tom, you can see, looks very disappointed with that outcome.
Yes, he does.
And now faced with some pretty ridiculous decisions to have to make. When Tom had made the board the way he did, I was eyeing the Timberwolf. And one of the reasons I was eyeing the Timberwolf was A, it pushed more damage immediately in case Mass Hysteria happened. Right. But B, in the event that Mass Hysteria happens, I think it might increase the benefit he gets from it.
Question mark?
Now,
the 5 minions on board?
The problem with it is
the numbers?
Once you get to like the 4 minion and the 5 minions, you start ending up with so many iterations of Mass Hysteria outcomes that it is almost nonsensical to try and calculate it. And the idea that you could have memorized that many different Hearthstone scenarios is also nonsensical. You can't. But I think one of the reasons that Tom was willing to hold on to it was because he had a significant follow-up afterwards. He had Savannah Highmane down the road, and that's really, the final push point from Tom. If this Savannah Highmane sticks, which it often does versus Ryvius, we're looking at Psychic Scream, Mass Hysteria, no other way to eliminate big minions in the deck. That's a win condition.
It is, but Ryvius now, with the Twilight's Call draw, does give him a brief window of finding the Death Rattle completion that at least will get him the Amara to stabilize his time for the time being. He was upset with the outcome of the Twilight's Call there, now picking up Loot Hoarders. Right. Could have fought for the board a little better in the early game. Tom's out of gas, though.
Uh-oh. Tracking finds some stuff. Kill command, that's 5, 6, 7 plus 7.
16, I think.
I'm counting 17 total with the
17, yeah, right. Yep.
So he can't push through the Amara.
Nope.
So he's got to find a way to actually deal with this, and I think that's really the hesitation here. I think it's Master's call if you anticipate Ryvius getting Amara next turn, which, since you just do 2 more Death Rattles from his deck, you probably do.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like a Master's Call to me. I feel like in a world where your opponent is not playing his Amara next turn, you are winning regardless of what card you take here. Tom is going to go all in with the kill command, though.
So it makes some sense to me. Ryvius does need to have a 2-mana Death Rattle and a 1-mana Death Rattle, which he does have, but Tom's got Deathstalker Rexxar to refuel, I think is the thought from Tom. And when he sees this Amara come down, the game plans Deathstalker Rexxar after that.
That's fair.
You are safe now.
Ryvius might have found a way to get out of this situation.
Or maybe, actually, his kill command was a reservation for Amara, because this now allows him to go kill command, flanking strike on the Amara, and just preserve his entire board state.
That's a very true story as well. You know, the deck list that Tom has brought here, this isn't the Secret Package Hunter, it's the Tundra Rhino Savannah Highmane, and it's a lone copy of Savannah Highmane. I think there is a lot of merit to just pushing through the Amara here and continuing to keep the heat on Ryvius, because his hand is backed up by the Deathstalker Rexxar and the Flanking Strike afterwards. He doesn't really run out of gas in this situation, so he is free to just burn it away. Interesting.
So that's what's going to happen. Leaving this test subject alive, which is probably going to happen, does open up some dirty options for the opponent, and Tom actually does go ahead and respect that. You know, leaving the test subject alive lets Ryvius do some kind of silly things with recycling cards in hand. That Power Word Shield #1 on that list in terms of fighting his way through his deck, and I think you just saw a little bit of body language there from Ryvius, where he feels like that turn was the turn where he finally turned the corner.
Yeah, and I think it is as well. I mean, he just has so much time afterwards with Ziliax still in hand, with the Power Word Shield.
Yeah.
Picked up Vivid Nightmare. You know, we're missing not too much to get this job done at this point. And a lot of time to find those cards, and only 11 cards left in deck. Ryvius is playing, of course, the Topsy-Turvy deck, which basically chains together a lot of spells, loads them up to test subjects so that you can keep cycling through them, and makes a virtually infinite attack Stone Tusk 4 to kill the opponent. Looking for one more Radiant Elemental is Ryvius.
Yikes. Tom very much on the back foot here. Needs something explosive from his Deathstalker Rexxar, and those are not the options. Picks a relatively low-cost beast here, so we can tempo out 2 minions in 1 turn.
Just picturing the stealth hungry crab and like a Murloc walking by. It's like... That's how it naturally hunts in the wild anyway.
But Ryvius now just going to keep on making some progression.
Seance found as well. And now the Topsy-Turvy.
Yep. That's the full deck.
Oh, look at this too. Forces the attack from Ziliax, and what, you know, Ryvius is hoping for there is that either the 2 beasts on the opposite side clear it off.
Right.
Is he supposed to Mass Hysteria first? Yes, he definitely is.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of health out of that.
Yeah. Sounds right. All a formality, though. Like, that was the turn that you quite often see from a combo deck, where it's like, I intend to kill you next turn, therefore I'm just going to do all of the defensive things I can do this turn. Like,
hand space, too.
Yeah, hand space, and anything that takes any amount of damage off the board is good for me. Ryvius is set up to rip next turn.
Job done.
User error is what will prevent this spot. And Ryvius, not really a user error kind of player in these spots.
You wouldn't have thought so. It can happen, but it shouldn't. As the stage we've hit now, this deck has been around for a long time. The vanilla route of just getting 1 Stone Tusk Boar or 2 Stone Tusk Boars to connect with face is actually very easy after a few months of repetition. Easier than it was for me to say that sentence, apparently.
Yeah, they don't make sentence simulators. You know, the Topsy simulator.
Isn't that just a language class? Like,
I guess so, yeah. I mean, you're too smart for my own good.
Welcome back, class, to Sentence Simulator 101.
Got a hot $10,000 tournament for you in Sentence Simulator.
Meanwhile, in Hearthstone, things have happened. Divine Spirits have been played. This boar is getting ever increasingly towards the stages of Tusky Murder to Deathstalker Rexark.
Yeah, and you see that, you know, it's going quite slow on Ryvius's end. It's going, or on the spectator end at least, it's going quite fast on Ryvius's end where the animations are concerned. It takes the spectator client a long time to catch up with exactly how many actions that he's taken this turn.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called APM Priest, actions per minute.
You can see a long time ago, Ryvius took his hands away. He psyched himself up a bit, gave himself a little slap in the face, just trying to get himself back into the mindset of this series. There it is again, but you can see the spectator now just playing catch-up, letting all these animations play out. Stone Tusk Boar coming through for potential lethal. There is the third 16-1 Stone Tusk Boar to finish the job. Easily done for Ryvius in that spot once he turned the corner with the Amara and the Psychic Scream.
Priest gets a point on the board here with the top.